compañero, or your partner,
Right.
could count from 1 to 30 in Spanish. Do I have any volunteers or groups of people that would like to lead us in counting from 1 to 30? Let's all do it together then. All right, on the count of 3. Uno, dos, tres. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, muy bien. Alright, if you guys were struggling with that, I have a song for you. Refresher of how to count from 1 to 30 in Spanish is because today we are going to learn how to tell time in Spanish. Whoa. So you're going to use numbers from 1 to 30 and telling time. So I put the 2 learning targets on the board. Can I have someone read me the first learning target for us? Sam.
I can ask what time is it in Spanish.
Great. So we're going to learn how to ask what time is it. And the second one, who would like to read for us? Megan.
I can tell what time it is in Spanish.
Great. So those are our 2 learning targets today. So that's what we're going to focus on. So I'm going to pass out a piece of paper, and it has the structure of telling time in Spanish. And I want you just to look over the part where it says estructura. You and your partner can read it over and read the first bullet point under estructura. Would someone like to read it for the class? Would that help us, maybe?
You can find out what time it is by asking ¿Qué horas son? ¿Qué hora es? When giving the time in Spanish, use es la una to refer to 1 o'clock and son las plus the number to indicate any other hour.
Great, thank you. So that's a lot of information just in that one bullet point. So if you had your notebook, you would take out your notebook to follow along with some notes, but since you don't worry about it. Pretend that you are. So for our first thing that we're going to write down, to ask what time is it, we're going to say ¿Qué hora es? So what is the hour? So everybody repeat after me. ¿Qué hora es?
¿Qué hora es?
What time is it? We use the word hora instead of time. Time is tiempo, different word. But for this, when we tell time, we're going to use hora. ¿Qué hora es? Next, we're going to write down We use esla in the answer when and only when it's 1 o'clock. Only when it's 1 something we use esla to say it's 1 o'clock. So write that down. It is 1 o'clock. Es la una. So for example, es la una y diez. Who could raise their hand and tell me es la una y diez? What would that mean in English?
It's 1, 10, and 10.
It is 1 and 10. What about es la una y 23?
23.
It is 1 and 23. Great. All right. But what if it's not 1 o'clock? What would we use? Great. We'd use son las in the answer when it's anything other than 1 o'clock. So from 2 to 12 something, we would use son las. So for example, if it was son las 2:21, what time would that be? It is 2:21. Great, I heard that. It's 2:21. All right, another example. Who could read this one for me?
10 minus 129.
Oops, read your notes before you copy and paste. So yeah, it does say son las 10 menos 29. That might make you confused. We haven't learned that yet, have we? So let's go back to our estructura. So who could read the second bullet point for me? Sure. Ellen.
Use Y. Use E plus number of minutes through 29 to add minutes after the hour, or menos plus number of minutes through 29 to indicate time before the hour.
Great. So if it is, going back to our es la una y diez, it is 1 and 10. It is the 1 o'clock hour and 10 minutes. So whenever we want to add minutes, we're going to use E, or we're going to use menos. We're going to use E when it's 1 through 30, because we only know the numbers 1 through 30. We couldn't say it's 31 because we don't know how to say 31 in Spanish. So what we're going to use instead, we're going to use menos. We're going to do some subtracting time. So if it is 10 minus 29, who could guess? What time would that be? 9:31. Great, heard it. Good job. Muy bien. So, I have some questions for you. So, why do you think that we use the S for the 1 o'clock hour and the verb son for the 2 through 12 o'clock hours? Go ahead and discuss that first question with your partner. I like that.
If it's more than
That was great.
then it's plural form.
I was like, I'm not ready to
Oh, yeah.
What is the difference?
All right, so I heard from this
Accelerate.
group over here. Atención, por favor. Silencio en tres. Silencio en dos. Silencio en uno. Okay, I heard from this group over here. Why do we use the verb S for the 1 o'clock hour and the verb son for the 2 through 12 o'clock hours? Any of you guys over there?
We said 1 is singular, and then anything 2 to 12 would be plural.
Great. Correct. And why do you think we use la before una and las before the other numbers? Go ahead and talk with your groups to discuss that.
Singular.
plural. Yeah.
Okay, so what is it?
What hour is it? What
All
hour?
right, I heard it from these ladies over here. Great, we're all listening. All right, let's go ahead and hear it. Yours and Josh?
We guessed the same reason, singular and plural.
Great, la singular, las is plural. So la una is 1, it's 1 o'clock. Son las, that's more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then our last question, why do you think we use the feminine form of la, las, and una? Going back to that, Think back to that. ¿Qué hora es? Think back to that and talk with your group and think about why it's feminine.
Because what?
Hora es feminine.
The hour, yeah, okay. The hourglass.
Okay.
Feminine.
Yes, that's the answer.
Great. So these ladies have it for us, this middle group. So we're going to all pay close attention to what they're going to share with us. So why do we use the feminine form of la, las, and una?
Is hora es feminine?
Great. Or is feminine. And how, does anybody, I didn't ask this, but does anybody know, how do we know that or is feminine? Great. Beautiful. What I like to hear. It ends in an A. All right. So, how do we give time for when it's not the exact hour? So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's get more in depth in it. So we use E to add the number of minutes between 1 and 30. So for example, if it's 2:11, we're going to use son las 2:11. So we add E when we want to add minutes. I already did the other one. Okay, so instead of using the word quince, we're going to give you guys a new vocab word, which is cuarto. Everybody repeat after me, cuarto. Cuarto. So that means a quarter. So it's exactly 15 minutes. It's a quarter, really, so it's not exactly 15 minutes, but there's anyway. So we use it exactly when we want to say 15, when E cuarto is and 15, but we can also use it for menos cuarto, minus a quarter. So and a quarter, minus a quarter. So for example, son las 2:15. It is 2 and a quarter. It is 2:15. We're going to use E media when it's exactly 30 minutes after the hour. So medias are another vocab word for us. Media is half or middle. So if media 30 minutes, it's half the hour. So for example, son las 2:30. It's 2:30. All right, let's talk about menos. We use menos to subtract. So we're gonna subtract after we hit 30, when we get to 31 or more after the hour. So for example, if it's 2:35, we're gonna use son las 3 menos 25, because we have to minus 25 to get to trace. So we have to go up an hour from 2 to 3, 2 to trace, and then we have to minus 25 to get to 35. And then we talked about menos cuarto to subtract exactly 15 minutes from the next hour. So remember, when we're minusing, we have to go up an hour. Common error, gotta go up an hour. All right, so now we're gonna fill something out, which, let's see if this works. How do I make it come up?
Document camera.
Yeah.
There's a button on the video. There's a button here, and it takes.
Okay. All right. So if everybody could take out a piece of paper and draw a giant circle. Sorry, I didn't photocopy this. Take out a piece of paper, draw a giant circle. I put a word bank above, which I don't usually do for my class, so you guys are quite lucky. You guys got a word bank. And try and fill in all of the numbers. So like, for example, we're going to start with the very top one. I'm going to give you this one because I haven't given it to you so far with your vocab. It's en punto. So when it's exactly at the hour, we're going to say en punto. But then the next one is going to be, so it's the minutes. So what would we say for that next one? E5. Muy bien. So E5, because we're in 5 minutes. All right. What would be the next one? Yes. E10. Muy bien. All right. Vocab word. E cuarto. E20. Pay close attention to your spelling.